Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back to you again with another true crime reading. This time we are going to do the two missing Nova Scotia children. I just learned about this case from your comments about like an hour ago, and I figured I need to maybe see if I can help. My intention here is to help. I've done a lot of true crime, and I think this is going to be the most difficult one I've done yet. So a little nervous, but we'll see what I get. So if you're unfamiliar with the case, Lilly and Jack Sullivan were 6 and 4, and they're from Nova Scotia, and they went missing, I believe, May 2nd or 3rd, and it is now May 27th, and there are still no signs of them. The police said that they ruled out an abduction, but a lot of people don't trust that, and some people think that the parents are involved and that there's foul play. I feel like every time there's missing kids, everyone always just assumes it's the parents. So it's probably not super shocking to hear, but that is like, I think the number one theory that people have. So I'm going to take a look at this. Again, I think it's going to be really difficult. Probably the hardest one. I looked up 2 articles, so I think I know enough. But yeah, my intention here is to help. I feel like you guys are right when you say, like, if you have this ability, you need to at least try to see if you can maybe get some information. And you're right. I'm going to do that. So remember, these readings are all different tapers only. And let's get started. Okay. So the kids, what happened? Anyone to blame? The fact that it's 3 pentacles is kind of crazy. Okay. So why are there a bunch of money cards? Were the parents in poverty or struggling financially? I didn't want to read too much, but now I'm like, did I not read enough? Was not expecting pentacles. Okay. Well, the 10 of Pentacles is a lot of money. That's like having a lot of mouths to feed. It's like children being really expensive, right? I think they had 3, right? Because there's a baby. So I definitely feel like the family was overwhelmed with how expensive and how much was going on with the children. There's definitely a feeling of like overwhelmness. The 8 of Pentacles is about effort, and that's in the what happened. And then 6 of Pentacles is a lack of accountability. First of all, again, allegedly for neighbors only, I don't think that these kids were supervised very well. To be honest with you, it's giving latchkey kids. It's giving kind of like left to their own devices is what I'm seeing. When we look at the 8 of Pentacles, that's like a ton of effort. Again, it's like being exhausted. Like the energy I'm feeling is like exhausting. Like these children are a lot of work and I'm exhausted. There's this feeling of like burnt out. Like there's so much work. There's so much effort. There's so much going on. There's definitely a feeling of overwhelmness. It's like you have so much energy or you require so much effort. There's just this feeling of overwhelmness. That's what we're starting off as. That's another pentacle. 4 of Pentacles is like a greedy, selfish card. Like, I want my me time. Were they... does anybody know if they had special care needs or anything like that? There's like this feeling of like... Think of it like an endless pit of like money and effort. Like there's this feeling of like frustration. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's a bad person, but if you're getting frustrated, again, it doesn't mean, this doesn't necessarily point to anybody being the problem or the parents being a problem. I think anybody who deals with a lot of children or a lot of stuff and maybe doesn't have enough money, whatever, is going to feel stuff like this. But this definitely feels like it has some sort of relevance to their disappearance. The 6 of Swords is reversed. So 8 of Cups is about running away. 6 of Swords to me is interesting. 6 of Swords tells me, first of all, I do not believe that these kids, this is their only time going somewhere. When we look at the 6 of Swords reversed, okay, and the 8 of Cups, that means that they have a habit of like disappearing for small periods of time. Think of it this way, right? Let's say that you're a parent and you're sleeping in and your kids are outside playing, whatever. They have a thing that they do all the time. Let's go to our hideout. Let's go here. Let's go there. There's definitely this feeling of these children have special places that they go. I feel like it might be a place that they go and hide, maybe from like stress or anxiety, or maybe just for fun. I can't really tell which one it is, but I definitely feel like it's like I'm seeing like a hidey hole, like lifting up something and jumping in it, or like a tree fort, or you know what I mean? Like there's this feeling of like I'm hiding. I don't know if it's like a fearful hiding or if it's a playful hiding or if they utilize it for both, but I definitely feel like there's like a hidey hole. I know I sound crazy and maybe I'm wrong and I'm open to being wrong. You know, when I channel stuff, sometimes it's hard to get the exact day. Sometimes I get information before, sometimes I get information after. So I don't know how helpful it'll be, but I definitely see a hidey hole and I can't get it out of my mind. And I know this has relevance somehow. And I feel like there are times they do disappear. I don't think the parents maybe are aware, or they didn't care, or they were busy. They thought they were just playing. There's definitely some feeling of like these two have a place they go all the time. The Six of Swords is interesting. A lot of people think that there was maybe some sort of abduction or anything like that. I'm not saying it's impossible. All I'm saying is Six of Swords would be like my travel card. So if there was some sort of abduction or something like that, it would have to be after their hidey hole experience, right? After they're running into their playful thing or whatever. There had to have happened after their escapade, because there's somewhere that they're consistently running to. I see them running somewhere. I don't know if it's running to safety or whatever, but I see them going somewhere and then coming back and going somewhere and coming back and going somewhere, coming back. And then I see this time maybe they didn't come back. Now, I'm not sure if someone is involved, although I would say the likeliness, I know that the police said that they don't think it's an abduction. I think that's probably a pretty, I mean, it's difficult to say with the Six of Swords. Like I said before, yes, it does lean towards them being correct. But like I said before, if there was an abduction, because I don't want to like point any fingers at anyone. I understand why the police feel that way, and I would be inclined to believe that as well. If there wasn't, I know a lot of you could be like, there was an abduction. If there was an abduction, okay? I'm not saying that you're 100% wrong, because obviously we never know. But if there was an abduction, it has to happen after they're like running away somewhere, because I see them going somewhere. And I see them do this all the time. It's like if you're playing tag or going somewhere. Okay, there's the Chariot. Chariot, Tower reverse, avoiding catastrophe. Chariot, Queen of Pentacles. Chariot is a car. Lover's card, Devil, Four of Swords. Dude, this further reiterates what I said, which is like them running from something. It's like going into a place of safety. It reminds me of like when you're anxiety ridden, you have a fidget spinner. Like, I don't understand this. This is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling some sort of like running and hiding. Yes, I do think it's for playfulness, but I also think it's for fearfulness. There's this like, I can't get this out of my mind. Maybe I'm picking up something different. Am I wrong? I don't, that's all I see. The Lover's card, the Devil card, and the Four of Swords, I don't believe the relationship from the parents was healthy. It definitely feels toxic, or at least in a bad place. Devil card tells me there's a lot of resentment and negativity going on. Devil card also can sometimes be substance abuse. I'm not sure if that's a part of this case. Sometimes it's there. But I definitely think these kids were maybe not purposely neglected, but I do think that their parents were overwhelmed. So I don't know if I would necessarily say that they were really supervised. If they're claiming they were consistently supervised, I don't buy it. Sorry. Not saying it was on purpose. I'm just saying that I think they were overwhelmed, and I think these kids maybe were a little bit of a handful for them. And I do think they had a habit of doing things on their own. I definitely feel latchkey vibes. I just think these kids were doing whatever they wanted. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't buy the story that they were like, I think these kids were just doing whatever the hell they wanted. I genuinely think, I think that there was some structure, but I think there was a lack of follow through. So for instance, it's like, we need to do this, we need to do this, but they don't actually do it. So then the kids just wander off and do things. Like, I feel like these two kids were kind of just like In my mind's eye, it's like watching two little adults. You know what movie I have in my mind? Like Harriet the Spy, or Now and Then. It's like these kids are just running off doing whatever. It's weird. I also think that there's someone, the Lover's card tells me that there's someone. Oop, I pulled from the wrong deck. I'm like, oh, that's the wrong deck. They're both next to each other. Huh. Nine of Cups, not getting what I want. World upright, Three of Swords. Yeah, I don't know. That relationship does not seem good to me between the two of them. I think I definitely see a little bit of like threatening to leave someone, threatening to take someone's stuff. If you do this, I'll take this. If you do that, I'll take that. I don't know. I don't buy that relationship was healthy. No, I don't buy that at all. I think it was really intense, really emotional, toxic. And I think that if one person didn't get their way, there was chaos. And I think those children were just kind of like, whatever. It's almost like these children were in the way. And I don't know if it was necessarily done on purpose from the parents. I don't know if they purposely were like feeling that way or if it was just like a byproduct of the chaotic environment they were in. Probably more so. I don't know if I would necessarily say I feel like it's that crazy, but there's this feeling, yeah. And I do think that there's a bit of projection. King of Swords reverse, 10 of Cups, and 3 of Wands. I do feel like someone in the family knows something. Someone in the family knows something, or someone close to the family. Lover's card. Someone close to the family knows something. They've had an experience or they've seen the kids do something previously, run somewhere, hide somewhere, or tell them something. Somebody in the family knows some sort of information that is valuable to this case. I can't get that out of my head either. 3 of Wands and 10 of Cups. It's like somebody who's around the family, someone who's familiar. And the King of Swords also tells me that someone appears one way when they're another. What does that mean? King of Swords. Bit off more than you can chew. Judgment's reversed. So Judgment is embarrassment. Star reverse and 7 of Cups. I definitely think that the parents... I can tell you this. Whatever happened to those kids, the parents are embarrassed about it. Now, that could be as simple as like neglect, right? And then they wandered off. Or it could be something more nefarious. Again, it's going to be really difficult for me to tell. And I also want to be very sensitive and not throw accusations. I'm trying to be respectful and responsible. But what I will say is this. The 7 of Cups being reversed and the Star being reversed tells me that I don't believe that the parents knew their children as well as they should. Because I think that they were kind of left on their own devices and doing their own thing. And because I feel like they wandered a lot. I don't think this is the first time they've wandered somewhere. I don't. There is also someone that I feel like those children were attached to that weren't the parents. There's someone those children felt safer with or safe with that were not the parents. There's this feeling of like, I'm going with you, which is also somehow a part of this case. Damn it. I don't know if this is helpful at all. I'm getting such random pieces of information of the dynamic. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to get what happened specifically. It's because my ability, I'm an empath. So it's like I'm going through their emotions and the feelings involved. So I can get motivations, but the actual events are sometimes really difficult. Ace of Wands, High Priestess, and Hierophant. Damn it. See what I mean? There's a lack of follow through, the lack of structure, a lack of boundaries, a lack of rules. Ace of Wands, High Priestess. Like, I know that they were saying that the kids were sick. If that's true, they wouldn't even know how they got sick because they weren't around them. Like, they were just like wandering. Like, I do not believe. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think is going on. This is what I feel. Okay, I feel like those kids wandered consistently, which is why the parents weren't super alarmed at first when they didn't exactly know their whereabouts. I genuinely believe, or at least one of the parents was not super concerned because, or one of the adults, I should say, was not super concerned because I do think that they had a habit of like just like doing their own thing or wandering or not being super like aware of their surroundings, or maybe the parents weren't super aware of their surroundings. I just don't believe this is the first time that they've ever wandered anywhere. I don't believe that. You're not going to get me to believe that. I don't care what happens at the end of this case. I don't care what evidence you show me. You'll never get me to believe that. I don't care. I feel personally, in my opinion, allegedly French chambers only, I genuinely feel like these kids were doing their own thing all the time. I do not see a follow through with rules and structure. I kind of see them just like wandering, doing their own thing, whatever. I feel like, I don't know if raising themselves is exactly what I would say, but I will say that I feel like these are children that would probably have had to grow up quickly if they were older, meaning that I feel like there's just a lot going on in the house. There's a lot of stuff happening. Maybe they didn't have enough money or resources, and so, they had to fight to survive. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's an evil thing. I'm just saying that's what I feel is going on. I also feel like there's this energy with that high priestess and the ace of wands. There's this energy of like naivete in the children. It's almost like they're looking for, they were trusting is the word I would say, or curious is another word I would say, because like there's not enough structure at home, so looking elsewhere for that. Do you know if they were religious or they were part of any like religious groups, or maybe that's school related? I don't know. High priestess can sometimes be a community or an organization that they're a part of that might have relevance towards their structure or lack thereof as well. I'm not exactly sure. Six of Wands, reverse, strength, and hangman. I think I'm going to leave it here because I'm not sure if I'm going to get any more information. I mean, I'm willing to do another part to this if more evidence comes out, or if there's like a verdict in the case and they need, we have more questions or anything like that. But hangman, strength, and Six of Wands, ego. Ego and pride are a big portion of this case. The ego and pride of the family unit, the ego and pride of everyone, I feel like is a big portion of this and a big component of this. Stubbornness, the hangman not wanting to let go. I think everyone is so afraid of seeming as like a bad person that I feel like we haven't been told the truth or 100% accuracy in the stories. I think everyone is so afraid of being seen as like a bad parent or being blamed solely or anything like that, which is why I try to be diplomatic and I'm trying to, explain reasonings, not accusations. No accusations here, just energy. And it's all jumbled. So maybe I'm getting the timeline wrong or things are off by days or whatever. So don't get mad at me. I'm trying my best. This is very difficult. Probably the most difficult reading I've ever done. But I like a challenge. And again, I can look back at this and kind of reassess and get better at my skills, even if I'm wrong. So, but here's what I'll say. Strength card and hangman. I just think that if they were more honest in the beginning, I think that this case would have been easier solved. Because it just seems like everyone involved just doesn't want to be seen as like neglectful or bad. And I just feel like, I'm not saying people were purposely neglectful. I think circumstances have caused a significant amount of freedom for those children that perhaps they should not have had. So whether or not that plays a part in their actual disappearance, I don't know. But I do think that was going on previously. And I do think that these kids had a consistent problem of wandering off and doing their own thing. That's what I think. So I don't know if this helps. I know a lot of you are going to blame the parents no matter what. Some of you, I mean, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know. I can't tell, for sure. And I don't want to get sued no matter what, but I will tell you that this is what I feel. So hopefully some piece of this reading will be helpful, or somewhat accurate. If not, again, I'm interested to see how this plays out so I can go back and look at the cards. This is how I kind of learn true crime. I mean, I've taught myself true crime. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's my most favorite because it's the most difficult and I love a challenge. I'm not afraid to be wrong because this is how I learn. And this is how I've consistently learned how to do true crime. It's only through experience. And so I'm willing to put it out there and see, what happens and hopefully help. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you like the content, join the YouTube members, the join button down below. Until next time, bye guys. I love you. I'm gonna have to watch that back because I feel like I was all over the place.